Listen more often to things than to beings. Listen more often to things than to beings. 'Tis the ancestor's breath when the fire's voice is heard. 'Tis the ancestor's breath in the voice of the water. This is an excerpt from the poem by Barajo Diop. The music was composed by Isaiah Maria Barnwell and sung by the world-famous a cappella group Sweet Honey in the Rock. Welcome to the Power Play Reconnect experience. I'm your host, Ruth Carol Haskins. The best thing one can do when it's raining is to let it rain. Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. Often when I see it raining, the words of this song come back to me along with the words of this poem. They remind me of my childhood when I would relish walking in the pouring rain. Coming home from school, I would purposely run ahead of my sister to force her to walk up Stone Avenue. It was a hill that was nearly perpendicular to the ground and to the cross street at Apple Tree Closure. Rain would pour down the hill from where the road plateaued at the very top. My sister would trudge along behind me, complaining about her hair and getting wet. Me, I didn't care. My great joy was to take off my shoes and socks and walk up the hill as torrents of water washed over my feet almost up to my ankles. And I knew instinctively that I was not the first child to feel such glee doing what I was doing. I was also the one who my mother would have to check on if a storm was coming. I loved to watch storms come in, and I would stand on the back steps of the house until my mother called out a warning. You know, I have never been afraid of water. Even after nearly drowning in an ocean where storm waves were riding high, water was always my friend. I remember feeling panicked at first, and then calm. With calm came clear thinking, clear directions as to what to do and how to act. And rather than battle the waves, I moved with them, and they carried me safely to shore. Water. It is soft. Water in torrents breaks around and over the object that confronts it. Water, though soft, can wear away rock, creating deep gorges, magnificent canyons, and deep caves where it rests in crystal blue purity and splendor. Water is powerful. It can surge into a tsunami, whirl into existence as a hurricane, and overflow man-made banks designed to contain it. Water is necessary for life. Life can't exist without it. Yet as good as it can be destructive. Of all the elements, it is the most powerful. Fire, air, and earth all succumb to it. They require it for containment, for returning and nourishment. All plants and all animals require it. Water, water everywhere. Not a drop to drink. The rhyme of the ancient mariner, Samuel Coleridge Taylor. This was the situation of the main character of Taylor's poem. The ancient mariner with his shipmates was caught in a dead calm sea. Giving into his own twisted thinking, he killed the albatross, who had really just saved the ship and all of them from a harrowing and near-death situation. His shipmates made him wear the dead bird around his neck, hoping this form of forced penance would save them. It didn't. Alone and thirsting, the ancient mariner came to know the meaning of the absence of drinkable water, caused by wrong thinking, and yet the lesson for him was not over. So another adjacent quote, for every drop of water you waste, you, I, we must know that somewhere on earth, someone is desperately looking for a drop of water. Mehmet Murat Ildan. As generous as the gift of water is, we humans are very careless. Though water is a naturally renewable gift, it is not to be taken for granted as we have the habit of doing. If we were to look at all the elements as sacred, in the sense that they are part of a pattern and governed by laws that man cannot change, but only respect and find harmony with, then our earth would not be angry. If we were to speak to those who have preceded us on this earth, they would tell us about the sacredness of things that we consider mundane, and that in our modern society we thoughtlessly abuse. Have you ever sat by a waterfall or on a log overreaching a stream? One of my favorite camping spots in New Jersey had a wonderful stream with a small waterfall. Campers would awake early to get to the spot with the purpose of listening to the surrounding early morning birds, the rustling in the trees, and the water in the stream as it broke over rocks and fallen branches. But there was one particular object of everyone's intention, and that was to gain access to the huge rock that was in the middle of the stream. It was a treacherous walk over slippery rocks, but the prize was so worth the danger. Sitting on that rock was so peaceful. The raging thoughts and feelings of anxiety simply faded in the early morning forest music. I remember forgetting my surroundings and slipping into a sacred space. Do you know there is something in the forest that speaks to you when you let it? The birds have something to say. The breezes moving through the tree branches have something to say. The small creatures and insects in the underbrush have something to say. And the water, as it moves over rocks and rushes forward to its next and endless destination, speaks to you. Nature speaks, but we don't listen. We are too self-involved, arrogant, and caught up with the designs and contraptions of human inventions. Nature speaks, but we don't listen. We are too busy, too educated, too money-oriented. Yet, if we would pause to listen, we would hear nature say, "Don't listen to people who don't listen to me. The answers you search for are evident in all creation." Make time to listen more often to things than to people. Nature, all of creation, speaks if we will listen. Right now, in every part of the earth, nature, creation is speaking. Listen. More than just a thought, much love to you all. This is the Power Play Reconnect experience. Thank you for listening.